It hits me hard and it cuts me deep. I'm 1,000 miles from happiness, 1,000 miles from you. It's a far reach from you to me. I feel the time and the space between. It's 1,000 miles of loneliness, 1,000 miles from you.
For the past 5 months I've been running. I have been running and I've been working out and I've been reading a lot. I've been doing what I said I was going to do and try and get out of the middle. But at some point along the way, not long after the second video, I realised something very, very important that really changed everything for me. That has really stopped me from making this third video because I just don't know how. I didn't know how this was going to be made. I realised that the goal of running the marathon was never the goal in the first place, and I missed it. After the second video I got deep into running. I mean, obsessed. I was running as much as I could, as long as I could, and I realised that although I was getting out of the middle in terms of me running, the rest of my life still was pretty cushy. It was still pretty mundane, it was still pretty in the middle. And I had to step back and really think what it meant to get out of the middle. What was my goal really? Was my goal to run? Or was my goal, this whole time, to just get out of my comfort zone? And I stepped back and I realised that the running was always just a tool and I had missed it completely. The 10 days of silence, it was just a tool. I mean, what happens when you're done? Okay, I do 10 days of silence, I don't talk for 10 days. Then what? I go back to my normal life? Do you know how many times that happens? Do you know how many retired athletes you see strive for absolute physical, brilliance, pushing themselves every game, every single day, to then, as soon as they retire, put on a bunch of weight, be lazy and turn into slobs? The goal was never to run the marathon, because if it was, I don't think it would have been enough. The goal was for me to get out of the middle, to get out of my comfort zone. And I realised as I was running one day that the running wasn't enough. The running was a tool, yes, and I've run as much as I could for the past 5 months. I've run. Don't doubt me, I've run. But that was never the goal. If the marathon takes 10 years to get, so be it, as long as I run. Because it's not the goal, it's not the meta lesson, it's not the meta goal, and this is so important. My goal from the very beginning was to get out of the middle, to get out of my comfort zone. And if I was only doing that in my running, if I was only doing that in my silence, then I will have wasted hours and hours of time and grown very, very little. If those things don't spill out into the rest of your life, into the things that you do, into the people that you meet, into your relationships, if it doesn't spill out and push you out of your middle in everything you do, then you are wasting your time. And I'm telling you, there are people who set out to do amazing things and make amazing goals and they achieve them, and then they're left empty because they never realised their why in the first place. Lesson number 1, know your why. And my why was never to run a marathon. That was a tool. My why was to get out of the middle, to get out of my comfort zone. That's what I realised after posting that second video. And I only realised that by stepping away. I was ready to post a third video of me running and telling you more about my journey and trying to get more views and subscribers, but whoopie-doo. Just ego. I had to figure out my why again. What was my why? My why wasn't filmmaking, my why wasn't running, it wasn't sitting in silence, it wasn't subscribers. My why was to push myself to get out of my comfort zone. That was always my why. So I started to do that. The snapshot of the past 5 months is, on paper, absolutely incredible. Because I believe that I've done more in the past 5 months than I've done in the past 26 years of my entire life. And it was all because I started with getting out of the middle. So I thank you, Bo. You know, running is your thing, and I love running. But I realised more than anything from watching your films that it's not the running that impresses me, it's not the eating the beans or anything. It's fundamentally that you try through these videos to explain and better understand your why. And in doing so, you become a better person, you grow, you stretch yourself. And all the things that you do are just tools to get there, to get to your why, to understand it better. Again, these past 5 months have been incredible for me. I mentioned in past videos that I'm trying to start a business with my partner, a media company. For a long time, our vision was to make money, hire people, and get it done. And we came to a point not long after the second video where we realised we just didn't have the money. We didn't have the money to hire designers and accountants and entrepreneurs and web developers. And I realised at the very point of my running that it needed to be me. And that is a mammoth task. If you've ever, it's like looking at a wall that you think you can't climb. You ever done that in life? Whether it's a career opportunity, or you want to start a family, or you want to get a job, or you want to accomplish something, and you realise that it almost seems impossible. Like, it doesn't seem like you could do it. And then you do it and you look back and you think, wow, I did it, and how incredible was that? But at the time, I think before the Project BMF videos, I would have never attempted this. I would have just said to Nicole, no, we need to just save and hire people. But the whole getting out of the middle paradigm, this meta goal, was the thing that clicked everything in my head, and I started to learn. I mean, I could do a whole video on just how I learnt, because I have really run the show in terms of building the business. In terms of the web development and the design and the magazine building and the community and the Facebook marketing and the Facebook engagement and the digital magazine that we're putting out. And I've had to learn how to use Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Photoshop, Final Cut Pro to edit videos. We're doing short documentaries, we're doing courses. I've had to learn every single one of them, having come from a completely theoretical academic background like theology. Never have I touched a pen and paper. Never have I picked up a paintbrush. Photoshop? But now, what a journey I've come on. So no, I haven't run a marathon. No, I haven't sat in silence for 10 days. But I realised that I've done so much more. And primarily, I've learnt more about myself, which is one of the most important things you could ever do. Because in growing, your goals will grow. As you grow, your goals will grow. And it's important not to be attached to the do, but attached to the why. The do is not as important. Run a marathon, learn Photoshop. The do is not important. How you do it is not important. What is important is your why. That is the base of all good goals. Your why. Why are you doing this? What is the purpose? To push yourself, to get out of the middle, to better understand yourself, to build your relationships, to face trauma that you've had as a childhood, to face your fears. What is your why? That is the most important thing. And if you can focus on the why, the do can change. The do can change. I don't care if I don't run a marathon. It wasn't important to me. What was important was getting out of my comfort zone. And if you can do that, you will grow as a person, and your goals will grow, and you will grow, and your potential will grow, and you will do what most people never do in their entire life. Discover who they really are. These 5 months, I've discovered more about myself than any other period in my life, because I've pushed the limits of what I could potentially do. I've discovered my potential. That is what we do in life. Life almost isn't even about building layers. It's about stripping layers and finding out what you're capable of. You can't build on top of what you don't have. I'm never going to be an NBA player. It's a fact. But in getting out of the middle and pushing myself and learning, I have stripped back all the BS to find out I am way more capable than I ever thought. So I'd like you to follow along on this journey. I'm going to continue posting videos on my running, and I'm going to run a marathon in the bush. I promise it is going to happen. I'm still going to do the 10 days of silence, because all those do's really do matter. On top of finding out who you are, it's also really important to do what you've never done. That was me designing, me learning Photoshop and Illustrator. Because in doing what you've never done, you get exposed to what you never saw. If I only did what I thought was, if I only did what I saw, I would only do what is comfortable. I would only continue to preach and be a pastor and do whatever. But if you can push yourself to see what you cannot see and do what is not possible, things change. So I'm going to post more about that. I'm going to post more videos on my learning. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to just document my journey, and I hope you can join me. Share your stories with me. Comment. Join with me. And I hope that we can figure out our whys. What is your why? What is your why? If you can figure out your why, you will never fail. You will only learn. You will only learn. What is your why? What is your why?